I've got a day off. Now my studio in Farnham is actually quite close to, well, it's a sort of landmark. It's called the Hog's Back. This was a road that I'm standing on that's been looking over this valley and been around here for centuries. So it was a Roman road originally, and also it's been used by pilgrims from Winchester to London. And then they paved it, obviously, a few decades ago, and then they had it as a bypass between Farnham and Guildford. It's a lovely spot. So you've got Aldershot over there, and then here is a little church quite a long way away. That's a place called Normandy. Guildford's up over that way. Tongham is right below us. You can see Aldershot. You can't see Farnham because we're obviously behind the trees. But that's sort of the back end of Farnham there, up Castle Street where the Farnham Castle is. So this is a really nice location. So I came here for the sole purpose of assembling some IKEA furniture in my van. So I've got a couple of items. I went to IKEA yesterday. Don't ever go to IKEA on a Saturday. It's an absolute nightmare. Queued for well over an hour just to be confronted with meatballs, and the gravy didn't taste of anything, to be honest. But it's a rite of passage, isn't it? You go to IKEA, you buy all the exciting furniture and you do the tour, and if you're hungry you get something to eat. But it was like queuing up at Disneyland or something like that, really. The trip to IKEA was pretty good actually, but I wish I wasn't hungry when I turned up. So that's where I am, but unfortunately the van hasn't got that lovely view. The van has the view of a petrol station. This is the petrol station, and there's my van there. There's a few people milling around. I've got a parking spot, which is quite secluded and it's pretty good. So I'm going to work on the van in here with this lovely view behind me, not the petrol pumps. This lovely view behind me, and we'll see how we can do. Apparently all the bits that you need to assemble it come with it, but I have brought a couple of extra tools. Now that's the back end of Farnham, actually, over the other side of the Hog's Back. So this petrol station is the start of the Hog's Back, and it goes right up to Guildford. The actual road, A31, goes right down past Alton and places like that. But this is where I am anyway. Let's go and have a look. I'll explain to you what I'm going to do. So my regular viewers, all 10 of you, will notice that I haven't got a TV here anymore. I did have a big 40-inch TV, but I don't use it. So I think it's better use of the space to put a little shelving unit here. I have an IKEA like desk table, which is pretty funky actually. But now I'm going to put this on top. And then I've got these little baskets which will go in to store my stuff. Got a couple of other IKEA boxes there as well, which are getting too full. It's part of the reason for doing it. And I've got some dried flowers from IKEA as well, which I did have up here, but they've gone now, so I'll take them down. Right, so let's turn the big light on in here, get a bit of light going. There it is. I'm going to stick this over here. So these are assemblable. There's probably a little pack of screws inside here. Yeah, there'll be a little pack of screws or nails inside there. I can just put them together. But this thing's got all of the... We've all been to IKEA before, haven't we? This is a pack of things that they give you, and allegedly I don't need any tools. So I'm going to take my sunnies off because I can't see, obviously. And I'm going to put this together. So allegedly it's really simple to put together according to the instructions. I'm sure I'll have some bits left. Need a bit of this. Oh yeah. Turn that off. I don't need the electric blanket on today because obviously I'm not going to be sleeping on this bed. So that'll get really hot for no reason. So yeah. So the day I went to IKEA was yesterday. Went to the one near Reading. So we queued up. For anyone that's been to the Reading IKEA, we queued up at the school canteen place for our meatballs, which we did have in the end. But oh man, it was probably an hour and 15 minutes. And then luckily we found a table when we were able to sit down and eat our food, which I wasn't expecting. I thought maybe it would well, it just looked like you're going to have to stand up and eat your food, but we didn't. And then we wandered around. Let's have a look. Let's have a think. We went to all the departments because they make you go round, of course. And we concentrated on the furniture. I was looking at maybe getting a shoe rack to put in this spot, but that wasn't really... It was expensive as well, and it wasn't really that suitable. So I ended up settling for a unit that was actually downstairs. So we went through all the upstairs parts and all the bits and pieces, and up through all the little departments, and ended up right down the bottom picking up what we needed. While I'm making the cabinet, I'll tell you a little story. I've finished making it now. It took about 25 minutes, and I thought even if I speed it up it won't be much fun to watch. So let's intercut a little story about me, why I ended up living in my van. Well, I bought my first van 20 years ago. Used to have a 9-to-5 corporate job. Then I started doing corporate videos. It all started when I did a ski season years ago. That's a longer story. And I started making ski videos for people before everybody used to have phones, of course. And yeah, I made ski videos, got a bit of a background from that, and I got some cameras, and I had a good job, so I started doing it professionally. 2004 I started doing it actually professionally, and as it transpired I started doing a lot of London work up in Covent Garden, Regent Street, Soho, jobs like that, fashion shoots and things like that. That would all be up in right in the centre of town. Cost a fortune to drive up there and park up there, but I used to do it in the van, and I used to stay over sometimes, because if you're in Westminster and you pay, you can stay in Westminster and up Regent Street and places like that, but it costs a fortune. It's about 70 quid a day if my mind serves me correctly. It was ridiculous, but they budgeted for it, so I was able to stay. But I thought, you know what, I think I'll just go to different places. So I started going to service stations, and I started going to campsites and things like that, just to make it a bit more of a pleasant experience for me, really. That went on for years. Then COVID hit. All the corporate work went away. Story for many people probably. Yeah, all the corporate stuff just evaporated really. And then I bought a couple of broadcast TV cameras and started doing football, cricket, equestrian work, motor racing, which I do a lot of. So I'm going to a motor racing circuit, the last one of the season actually for us, next weekend, so I'll make a little video about that. So I started doing that, and of course a lot of these events require you for 5 or 7 days. So the tendency was to go away quite a lot and stay quite a lot in the van. That's why I've got a van that's quite comfy and homely. It's got, you know, good facilities in it, electric hookup, solar panels, heater, all that kind of stuff. So I can go away and do my job. Now, I did own a house for many years, 2 houses. Was in a relationship for nearly a decade. When that broke up a couple of years ago, I was faced with the choice: do I try and buy another house, or do I rent a house? But work has been, you know, not recovered really from COVID. So as a result, I've got a good friend I've known for many years, and she lets me store all my kit in her spare room. It's quite a small room, but when it's got all my kit in it, it's packed. So I often stay in my studio base in Surrey, and then I head off to Silverstone or Brands Hatch or wherever, or equestrian centres, and then I stay there for a few days and I come back and I unload the kit, and then I'm off and away again. So I'm quite transient nowadays, I must admit. I do like staying in service stations. Some would say it's weird. I have never stayed here. This is quite close to me actually, but it's a good spot. A little bit noisy because you've got that Hog's Back, but traffic doesn't seem to wake me up or disturb me. So this van I've had for 2 years now, and I stay in it a lot. Sometimes I stay on campsites, sometimes service stations, and then I go away with the kit in the van. I've got a diesel heater as well. I made a bit of a video about that a couple of weeks ago, so I always stay warm. I've got my Bluetti AC 200, which lasts for days and days and days, so I can charge all my kit. You know, I can charge my big camera batteries and everything's fine, so that works really well. And now I could have built this unit, I could have built this outside my studio place, but it's on not a busy road, but it's on quite a suburban road, and there's always local traffic going through, and it's one of those ones where all the cars park on one side of the road and the other side of the road is empty, so you can only fit one car down. So anytime a car comes one way or a car comes the other way, it has to stop. And where I park my van, there's a big drop curb next to me, so people coming along always dart in and squeeze in to the drop curb by my van, and it's just constant, absolutely constant. Always got someone tooting at someone else, someone not getting right of way, that kind of thing. So I would have had my backside knocked off probably, because I've got to get all the kit over the road from the house into the van, and then I've got to assemble the unit with the door open, which people think I'm even weirder than I am. So I thought, well, you know what, I'll come up to this service station on the Hog's Back. That I think is Aldershot, that spire in the distance. I've got some B-roll of it. I took some with my phone earlier on when I went for a coffee after I'd finished assembling the unit. I don't know what that new building is. I think that might be Aldershot as well. It's really difficult to make it out actually, even though it's my local area. So let's go back and watch me assemble a bit more. We can assume we're in the middle of assembly at the moment. Okie dokie, so just had a car pull in next to me, which is fine, but they were chatting, so I thought then would be a good time to change my battery. So continuing, this is the right, where do these go? Right, there's a big hole there, and there's a bigger hole in the bottom of this one here. So hopefully, I've just thought, hopefully, because that has to go that way up. Have I put this on the right way? Do you know what? I think I have. One big one, big one, big one, another big one, another big one. That goes in there like that. That goes in there like that. Come on. So I suppose if I'm doing an assembly video, which I've not really had an intention to do, but this is what it is, isn't it? Albeit pretty calamitous. Look at that, I'm making a right old mess. I suppose I ought to talk about something and I make it more interesting. So yeah, Saturday, IKEA. I don't go to IKEA very often. And normal things that people do, IKEA is a normal everyday thing that a lot of people do, isn't it? It's not unusual. Why won't that go in that hole? But I found it quite stressful, I'll be honest. I managed to keep my cool and go ahead and do it, and I knew I was after stuff, so it was a necessary thing to do. But I didn't enjoy the crowds. I never enjoy crowds. I don't mind when I'm filming a sporting event or something, you know, football stadium with crowds, because I'm not anything to do with them. I'm just minding my own business and doing my own thing. So that's alright, but everyday stuff that normal people do like that is same with supermarkets. I suppose we all feel like that, but what happens is most people will suck it up and just get on with it. That's what you do, isn't it? I have no idea what these are for. I wonder what they're for. Maybe I should read the instructions more carefully. Yeah, people just get on with it, don't they? That's what people do. You just got to go down IKEA or got to go down Asda. I've never enjoyed that kind of stuff. Like I say, I've got a home base that kindly an old friend lets me stay at. I've got a room, a little bit. It's a bit more of a storeroom, but it's nice. It's good, and but I'm always so long. I do tend to stay in my van more often than not. And that's just because it's just difficult to do normal everyday things that people do without getting all stressed out and I suppose a bit anxious, to be honest. I've suffered from that kind of thing for donkey's years. I get itchy feet, and I get there you go, that's going in. Yeah, I get itchy feet and I get kind of frustrated and I'm not sure where I am or where I'm going. I'm a bit of a control freak, so if I go to a social event, I like to know what I'm doing, know where I am, know that I can get in, get done what I want done and get out. Queuing up for things, as I just said, I really don't enjoy it, but I do enjoy, you know, waiting and queuing up to go to work. So if I film a football match, for instance, I have to fight my way into wherever the ground is, and then once I'm there I have to lug all my kit out of my van, usually into a trolley, and then it has to be taken like for instance, if you're at QPR, for instance, you're about a half a mile away, I suppose, in the vehicle, which is fine because I've got everything in the van and I just load up the trolley and pull it in, and that's all fine. I don't mind doing that, and it's quite exciting work, but sort of fighting your way through the crowds to get to the place you've got to set up is always a bit frustrating, but it is all part of the job. And a normal everyday 9 to 5 would just bore me to tears, I think. Oh look, here we go. So that's why I do what I do. So I got my first van, it must be 20 odd years ago now, so we're looking at, what are we now, 2025, 2005. I think I got my first van in about 2006, and I had that for 18, 19 years. And at the time I was working a 9 to 5 in an office and commuting, but I'd go away at the weekends in the van because that's more fun than just hanging around, going down the pub, because I went down the pub a lot when I was younger. But yeah, since I got this van 2 years ago, and I'm now living up in Surrey, I find I've got more of a wanderlust. I like to get out more. So I could have got this stuff at IKEA yesterday, and then I could have taken it up into my studio cross bedroom thing and just assembled it up there, because it's easy, isn't it? I'm just sitting down on the bed. And then I could have taken it over the road to the van and just sort of assembled it there. But the problem with where I am, where I park on the road, and it's a quiet road, it's a residential road, it's a nice road, the neighbours are really cool. I talk to them, a couple of them actually know that I stay in the van there sometimes. So sometimes I come back, and so say for instance, if I've been away and I've got 100,000 quid's worth of camera equipment in the van, and I get back close to midnight, the prospect of removing everything out of the van, because you can't leave it in the van overnight, and bringing it upstairs is a bit daunting, because for starters it'll make a lot of noise in the street and people are trying to sleep if I'm opening and shutting the van, because you can only take like one piece of kit at a time. It's quite heavy, like a professional camera bag is heavy, so you carry it, and then you have to slam the van shut, open the door, carry it upstairs to the studio, go back out, cross the road, get your next bag, bring it back, usual thing. So it's just not an ideal situation, really. And similarly with assembling this, if I was doing this, I could do it. So I'm walking a dog. I could do it, but then my backside would be hanging out the van as I'm going in and out, and I'd have to have the door open, and there'd be cars would pull up right next to the van, because even if you've got a car and you park on one side of the road, because everybody parks down one side of the road, you can't get another car through. So it's regardless of whether it's a van or a car, it's one-way traffic all the time, because you just can't get two past. So I would get cars all over the place. It's an absolute nightmare. So I decided to come here, where I can just sit in my van and do it. That's it, done. They've got these two things which are for attaching it to the wall, which I'm going to do. These, I have no idea. Maybe they go at the back to stop things coming out. I'll have to read the instructions about that. But this is assembled. So got 4 holes on the top there, so I want it like that. That will go on here, and that fits nicely on there. The only issue I have is that it's the bulkhead of the van means that it doesn't quite sit flat, which is a bit annoying really, but I can work that one out. And that sits on this black table quite nicely actually. Like that. That's really good. And then these go this way around, like this. Oh yeah. So this was actually, I asked some nice employee chap, because I'd taken a picture of this and I saw it right at the beginning of the tour around IKEA. Saw it right at the beginning with some stuff in it, just like I did these orange crates, but I couldn't find them anywhere in IKEA. And I asked this bloke just as we were on the way out to the sort of tills we'd got back round to where the cafe is, and I asked him, and he looked and he goes, "Oh, it's just around the corner." And I was like, "Oh, if I'd have waited like a minute more, I'd have been able to see it." But my patience ran out just before we got to it, so yeah, that was annoying. Right, anyway, so that's for if you're hanging it upwards. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. So these go, I've got it round the wrong way, but only in so much as, well actually, that's not too bad. Yeah, so if I do that and use the little Allen key, no, it's a screwdriver. Is that a screwdriver? Put my glasses back on, can't see. That's a screwdriver. And they haven't given us a screwdriver, but I did bring my electric screwdriver. Where's my drill bits? There they are. I don't think I've got a screwdriver bit. No. Allen keys. There is. That might work. Messed up at the last second. No, that won't go in there. That must go in there. No, it's not actually a screw hole. No, you need a screwdriver. So I'm going to have to, unless that one fits. No, I'm going to have to abandon this final little part of the build. Let's put some things down there, that down there, that down there. That on the bed, put that on the bed. So these and these 4 are useful. These aren't useful, but I'll keep them anyway. Those I think probably clip over them. Yeah. So this is all useless. see these little screws. Now I thought when I brought my drill that it had the screwdriver bit on the end, but it didn't. That's my mistake, or I could have just reeled it in. So the plan is to drill these 2 items into there, or these 4 items into there, and then turn it around the other way and just gently drill it onto the boards in the van. And they only have to go a couple of, like a mil or so in, which is why these short ones will probably be long enough. I'm not sure how they expect that to work. That's interesting. Not sure how they expect to attach it to the wall, the actual wall itself. There was a picture of a, yeah, there we go, happy looking people. Oh, I see. Right then, assembly done. Short tour done of the local area where I've made it. And now I'm going to go and have some lunch. It's a lovely day. And then I'm going to go for a dog walk with a friend of mine. Because yesterday it was raining crazy, and I wouldn't be surprised if it rains again tomorrow. Helicopter going overhead. Anyway, another short video just to keep it up really, and I'll see you in the next one.